This next story comes from a subscriber in Louisiana. They swore they would never tell this story publicly, but the nightmares just won't stop. So he wanted me to share this story with you so that you would know that the Rougarou is real. And if you see it, its glowing red eyes, it's already too late. Deep in the swamps of Louisiana, among the twisting bayous and the dense cypress trees, there's a legend as old as the land itself, the Rougarou. A cursed being, a predator in the night, half man, half beast, with the body of a hulking creature covered in matted fur, and a face that shifts between human and snarling wolf. But it's the eyes that people remember the most, burning red like embers in the dark. Some say you become a Rougarou if you break Lent. Others say it's a curse passed on by a witch, a punishment for sins too dark to speak of. But here's what everyone agrees on. If you see it, if it looks you in the eye, your fate is sealed. And during Mardi Gras, that's when it's the strongest, because the chaos of the crowds, the laughter and the music, you don't hear it coming. And that's exactly what happened to my subscriber. I was 23 when it happened. It was my first time at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. My cousins and I had been drinking since noon, running through the streets, collecting beads, dancing in the parades. The air smelled like beer, sweat, and frying food. It was loud, messy, and wild, exactly what I wanted. But sometime after midnight, things got weird. The streets were still packed, but something felt off. The laughter sounded strange, stretched out, like it was coming from people who weren't really there. The air felt thick, heavy, like a storm was about to roll in, but the sky was clear and full of stars. That's when he saw it. A man, too tall, too thin, wearing a white mask, standing just at the edge of the crowd. The mask was simple, smooth, with black empty holes where the eyes should have been. And yet, he swore he felt something watching him. I don't know why, but I couldn't stop looking at him, he said. It was like he was daring me to come closer. His friends didn't see him. They were too busy shouting for more drinks, pulling him toward Bourbon Street. But the masked man, he didn't move. Not until my subscriber blinked. And then he was gone. He shook it off. Maybe it was just some weird performer, some guy messing with tourists. But then, as they stumbled toward a quieter street, he saw something else down a side alley. In the dim glow of a flickering street lamp, something was crouched over a pile of trash. And at first, he thought it was a dog. But dogs don't have arms. Dogs don't have clawed hands gripping the torn remains of a Mardi Gras mask. And dogs don't have eyes that glow red like fire. It turned its head, slow, like it knew I was watching. The second we locked eyes, my stomach dropped. My legs locked up. I couldn't breathe. It was tall, unnaturally tall. Its back hunched, covered in dark, wet fur. Its face was stretched, part human, part wolf. Its mouth too wide, its teeth too sharp, and those eyes, those burning red eyes, never left his. Then it grinned. I don't remember running, but suddenly I was sprinting, he said, shoving past people, my heart pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. But no one else saw it. No one else reacted. It was like I was the only one in the world who knew it was there. His friends were gone. The streets were too empty. And then he heard it. Behind him, the sound of claws scraping against pavement. Slow at first, but then faster. I don't know how, but I ended up in Jackson Square. The sound of the chase stopped. I was gasping for breath, bent over, trying not to throw up. That's when he heard someone whisper, "You saw it, didn't you?" An old woman sitting on a bench, staring at him with cloudy gray eyes. "You shouldn't have looked it in the eye," she murmured. He tried to ask her what she meant, but she just shook her head. "It knows you now, and it don't ever forget." And then, just like that, she was gone. The subscriber made it back to his hotel, locked the doors, kept the lights on, told himself he was drunk, hallucinating, losing his mind. But then at 3 a.m., he woke up. His room was silent. The city noise was gone. The air was too still, and outside his window, something was standing on the street below. Not moving, not breathing, watching with burning red eyes. I left New Orleans the next morning and never went back, but I still see it, sometimes in my dreams, sometimes in the reflection of dark windows, always waiting, always watching. And every year during Mardi Gras, I hear footsteps outside my door, scraping claws on pavement, slow, waiting, like it's reminding me, you can't unsee the Rougarou. So, if you're out celebrating this Mardi Gras, be careful. Don't walk alone, and if you see a stranger in a white mask or glowing red eyes staring at you from the dark, don't look, because once it sees you, it never forgets.